Clean and plentiful water provides the foundation for prosperous communities. Scientists and educators at the Washington State University Extension Research Center address one of the state's most critical issues: the pollution and resulting degradation of the state's rivers, streams, lakes, and ponds. Combining science and action with education and demonstration strategies, the Clarks Creek PhotoVoice project invites participants to identify, represent, and enhance their community through a process to photographically capture and record the unique perspectives of those who live, work, and play in the Clarks Creek watershed.
Clearly, a lot of the solutions are actually by people being able to look at issues broadly, and so and by allowing your student to come up with that on their own, you do that by giving them a project like going to taking pictures of a watershed. You give them a way of their own, I guess a path that they can discover themselves, and that's very different from the way most of us were taught, and it also opens up solutions that could not otherwise be found just by people learning things a certain way. I come from the idea that that just science alone does not answer the question. Most of my research, and this is the other reason why I do extension, is most of the research that I've done, I found that systems break down not because the science is not good enough, but it's because culturally people are not willing to try something different, because they have certain very set ways of doing things. But there is also this huge lack of understanding of how people relate to their environment, how their culture or their traditions define how they treat the landscape. And so for me, I approach the PhotoVoice project as a way to kind of help people define that relationship, cultural relationship, and how they have taken whatever science, it wasn't a lot, they didn't sit in a formal classroom, take that information that they got and apply it to their cultural kind of, through a cultural kind of lens. So even from an academic perspective, it is interesting. It may not jive with every physical or scientist, but there are plenty of people who are interested in culture and in how people, interact with themselves, and to them this would be enlightening. And then they could potentially take that information and talk to us, who are more traditional scientists, to say, look, these are things that you don't consider, even if you decide to design this system this particular way because the science says that's the best way to do it. Nobody's even going to do it that way because the culture tells them that they shouldn't, that it's a waste of time, or they would rather do it differently. And that gives us the opportunity to kind of examine our, the science, the data doesn't change, but the way we prescribe it or the way it's doled out might change.
Well, I'm really into the environment, for one, and the other thing is I really love photography. It's been pretty interesting to learn everything I have about the resource of water and learn how it's affected and is affecting our environment. Well, I think the one thing that's kind of changed it is that we've gotten so into electronics and more into not seeing the outside of the world beyond our rooms and beyond our houses and stuff. We've kind of begun to lose sight of what was natural and what was here, and I think we kind of need to bring that back and show people what exactly is missing.